What if you were confronted with a tiger? What if you walked into your garden and a tiger jumped out in front of you and you had to run for your life? Well, your body's going to trigger your fight or flight. Cortisol is going to flood your system. Your body's going to take all the energy away from your digestive system. It's going to pump it into your muscles. It's going to dilate your pupils, and you are going to have so much energy to run from that tiger, or probably not fight it. 3, 2, 1. And we're live for Q&A Tuesday. Welcome, guys. Nice to see everybody here today. Sorry I missed you guys last week. I was working very, very hard on my tan in Biarritz, and it was such a hardship, but I managed to get through it. I managed to top up my tan a little bit, and I was thinking of you guys while I was sipping my margarita by the pool, I have to be honest. But it just meant that I couldn't show up for Q&A Tuesday, so huge apologies for that. Hi Queen! I'm in phase 5 and still very fluffy and look more powerlifter than sculpted. I don't always eat well because of cheap filling food. Can you tell me why fasting is a bad idea? I've been tempted of late, even though shredding will do the trick, and I've been sticking to the program as closely as I can diet-wise. So here's the thing about fasting. Fasting is useful, okay? I talk a lot about intermittent fasting and how I don't believe in intermittent fasting, and I think it's the biggest bag of shite, right? Like just being honest. But what I also try and say is, it depends on what your goal is. Like, a lot of people on Instagram get very upset with me whenever I talk about celery juicing or about intermittent fasting, whatever, and they get really defensive and they're like, oh, but I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting and you should look at the science and blah, blah, blah. And I go, listen guys, I very rarely talk about intermittent fasting, okay? I don't think that intermittent fasting is bad. I don't believe that fasting is bad. In fact, fasting is extremely good for your body. Whenever you fast and you purposely fast, it is a really good way. Your body, whenever it's not putting any energy into digesting and breaking down food, your body gets into like the busy work of doing a deep clean, right? So digesting food, keeping your blood clean, and and sending blood through the liver and making sending water through the kidneys to be excreted as urine and sweat. All of this is a lot of work for the body. So whenever you mindfully do a fast, either a water fast or a juice cleanse where you only eat juice or you only drink juice, now not pureed juice like in a Vitamix or whatever, it has to be in a juicer where all of the fiber is extracted. Whenever you mindfully take on a juice fast or a water fast or some kind of fast, it's extremely good for the body. Semi-starvation is very, very, very good for the body. It's extremely cleansing. It allows the body to have a break from digesting food, and so your body goes into deep clean mode because your body wants to constantly keep your body healthy. So whenever it's not digesting a lot of food, it goes into deep clean mode. So I am a big believer in fasting. Intermittent fasting, as a practice, again, I don't believe that there's anything bad or harmful about it. I just don't believe that it's conducive to what many people use it for. Many people use intermittent fasting or start on intermittent fasting because they want to lose weight, right? That's mostly why people start intermittent fasting. I haven't heard anybody say to me on Instagram or in email or on Facebook, I haven't heard one single person say to me, I decided, and I'm sure they do exist, but they're just not the majority. I haven't heard anyone say, I have decided to practice intermittent fasting because I have researched the semi-starvation diet. And I agree with the research that when the body is kept in a state of slight need, whenever you give the body slightly less than it needs all the time, the body has to work very, very, very hard. It's like somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, right? Somebody who doesn't have a lot of money needs to work very, very hard to make money in order to feed their family and take care of, their bills and keep themselves alive, right? So, and that work ethic is extremely good. You would say, someone who has a really strong work ethic is stronger mentally, physically, emotionally than someone who never has to work for anything and just, everything just comes to them, and say they inherited a lot of money and they just lie around eating all day and they give themselves heart attacks and whatever because they're so fat and lazy. Generalization, of course. But I've never heard anyone mindfully come to me and say this is why they're embarking on intermittent fasting, because they have researched the science behind it and they're going to do it because they believe it's a good long-term solution for strengthening the body, strengthening the organs and all those things, which intermittent fasting can be. Most people start intermittent fasting because they want to lose weight. Now, here's one thing about intermittent fasting or fasting in general, right, that people don't understand. Fasting or intermittent fasting lowers the metabolism. It lowers the metabolism, okay? What is the metabolism? The metabolism is your body's way of keeping you alive. It's the amount of energy that your body expends to digest your food, to flush out your kidneys, to secrete urine and sweat, to keep you warm, to cool you down, to grow hair, to grow nails, to make saliva, to blink, and like all of these things, to talk, to breathe, for your lymphatic system. All of these things require energy, right? That is your metabolism. That basically is what your metabolism is. Your metabolism keeps your body functioning. So even whenever you're lying in bed sleeping at night, your body is burning calories because your body is burning calories to keep you alive. That's what the metabolism is. I know that you guys know this, but I'm just reiterating it to you, okay? So that's what the metabolism is. Whenever your body is fasting, so whenever you're asleep, you're fasting. Whenever you go to bed and you don't eat and then you fast all through the night, you're fasting. That's why it's called your breakfast. You break your fast in the morning. So during the night, your body, after about 6 hours, right, of no food, your body is considered to be in a fasted state because your body has digested all your food, stored all the nutrients, and there's no more energy coming in from food. When there's no more energy coming in from food, your body is declared fasted or thought of as being fasted. Whenever your body is fasted, your body automatically slows down your metabolism. Why does it do this? Because it doesn't have there's nothing more to digest. There's nothing more to, move through the body. It doesn't have to store any more nutrients. So your body slows down your metabolism because, it's sleeping, so it has no requirements to do this, but also because you're not, expending a lot of energy, you're not exercising, you're not eating, you're not doing all these things. Whenever you wake up in the morning, your metabolism is slow, okay? Your metabolism is slow because you've been fasting all night. So if you don't eat in the morning until 12 o'clock, your metabolism stays slow. It doesn't speed up. Your metabolism stays slow. So whenever you want to burn body fat, what the most important thing to do is to raise the metabolism. How do we raise the metabolism? 3 things: more exercise, more food, and more muscle. Okay, those 3 things raise the metabolism. The more muscle you have, the more your body has to feed that muscle with nutrients and with blood and amino acids and all of those things, which is why having more muscle raises the metabolism. The more exercise you do, the harder your body has to work to pump blood around the body, to, send nutrients to your muscles, to keep you cool, to, all of those different things, to produce sweat. So exercise raises the metabolism. And more food. Whenever you eat more food, your body naturally raises the metabolism because it can trust you to feed it, to bring in nutrients all the time. So your body knows, well, there's no point in slowing anything down here because we know that we're getting fed all the time. So we're getting a constant supply of nutrients. So your body just, like little worker bees, your body just works along, keeps everything ticking along. So whenever you want to speed up your metabolism in order to lose weight, right? You always want to speed up your metabolism. If you wake up in the morning and you don't speed up your metabolism, you are working against your goal if your goal is to lose body fat and to change your body composition, right? So you're actually working against yourself if that is indeed your goal. Now, if that is not your goal, then, and your goal is to stay, to buy into, or if you believe in the principle of keeping the body slightly undernourished in order to maintain long health and longevity, which is what a lot of people believe, then that's a different thing. Then intermittent fasting would be good for you. But if your goal is to lose body fat, then fasting is not a good option. The reason why intermittent fasting works for most people isn't because of the principles of intermittent fasting, i.e. they don't eat until midday. It's because they are eating less calories than they normally would before they started the intermittent fasting. So they're taking in less calories over a 7-day period, so their body is naturally losing body fat because they're eating less. So it's not that the intermittent fasting has caused the deficit or has caused the loss of body fat, it's that the deficit in calories has caused the loss of body fat. And this is what many people don't understand. So with your question, you're saying, you've been tempted to do fasting. And I think you mean intermittent fasting. There's no reason for you to do intermittent fasting, okay? If you want to lose body fat in phase 5, then get on the treadmill and bang out some cardio 7 days a week. Like, there's no reason. I'm constantly saying to people in this program, and that's why it says, on the bottom of every single one of the workout PDFs, there's a whole section about cardio. How much cardio should you do? If you're over 30% body fat, you should do X amount. If you're between 25 and 30, do X amount. I used to not recommend people do cardio during each phase of the program, whereas now I say, get out there and do cardio. The more cardio you do, the stronger you're going to be, the fitter you're going to be, the harder you're going to be able to work in the gym. People who are fitter lift more weight in the gym. They can work harder in the gym. They can go for longer without being fatigued. The fitter you are, the better it is, and the more body fat you will burn. So don't think about, I always try to say to people whenever they want to lose body fat, I say, don't think about what can I take away. Think about what can I add in, okay? So I would always choose to add in more exercise rather than take away calories. That would always be my first port of call. So, and of course, if you want to take away some calories and lose some body fat, that's totally fine. But, I would do that in conjunction with more exercise. So don't think about fasting as a quick fix. We all want quick fixes, and this is the problem, Everybody wants quick fixes, and that's why it's not that I'm against celery juice. It's not that I'm against intermittent fasting or juice fasting or the master cleanse or any of these things. I'm against the fact that people use them as quick fixes to a long-term problem. And unfortunately, many people who practice intermittent fasting practice it for a short period of time, and then they go back to eating normally again, and then they put all the weight back on. Why? Because they lower their metabolism. Because once your metabolism lowers, your metabolism slows everything down. It says, oh my God, right, we're not getting, what we used to get in here, so we can't depend on Kim to feed us and give us everything we need. So we're going to slow down the rate at which we burn calories. We're going to slow down how quickly we grow her hair. We're going to slow down, her lymphatic system. We're gonna slow down everything. So it slows everything down to try and conserve calories. And then whenever, you start eating normally again, your body goes, woo, food, right, let's store it all, because we know she's gonna starve us again. So let's quickly store all of this extra energy, because if your metabolism high and you start putting in extra food, your body can't burn it off. It's nothing to burn it. It's nothing to use it for. So it just puts it into fat store. That's why many people put on weight again after they do a crash diet or intermittent fasting or something like that. So try to think long term. I really want to get you guys out of thinking short term. Everybody gets in this program. I'm seeing it in the 12-week shred at the minute. The amount of posts I see on Instagram, and people are saying, I'm so disheartened. Like I'm only, I've been doing this program for 2 weeks now, and I just, I'm so disheartened with my progress. Like I don't weigh any less on the scale, and I'm like, you've been doing this program for 2 weeks? There was one girl who posted on Instagram I saw recently, and she was like, I've been doing this program for 8 days, and I'm so disheartened because I'm just not seeing the changes that I thought I would make. So I've decided to increase my active rest cardio, and I've slashed my calories. And I'm like, 8 days. 8 days. You've been doing the program for 8 days. I actually commented, and I was like, the problem is if you push up your active rest cardio now, you push it up now, you can never go back. You can't push it up to 1 minute 30 and then, after 4 weeks go, oh, this is far too long, and then drop it back again, because your body will acclimate to the 1 minute 30. If you drop back again, then you'll slow down your progress. So, the problem is we just want quick fixes. And even though it says 12 weeks, we're like, oh, we want the results in 8 days. So try not to be a quick fix girl. Try to be a long-term girl. Now you're in phase 5, so I know that you're a trooper. You've stuck it out to phase 5. But, if you want to start in on your cardio now, and you just want to start adding in like an hour's cardio every day, 30 minutes cardio, a 10-minute HIIT workout, something like that into your cardio every single day, do that. That is going to get the weight off faster than anything. But also, the fact that you've admitted, which I love, because you were honest with yourself and honest with me, you're saying, I don't always eat well because of cheap filling food. The fact that you have owned the reason why that you are fluffy is a really, really, really good thing. Because if you cheat on your diet, you're not going to get the results. Like you're not, and that's the bottom line. You have to get your diet under control. You can't out-train a bad diet. You cannot do 2 to 3 hours cardio a day and out-train a bad diet. You just can't. It doesn't work. You have to get your diet and your portion control and your calories under control if you want to get the results. And if you don't get that under control now, you're really going to struggle in phase 6. You're really going to struggle. Hi, Kim. I'm wondering where you get clothes to fit you. As I am growing more muscle and my body is changing shape, I'm finding it hard to get clothes that fit me now. I like to wear other things beside gym clothes, but I'm getting a little frustrated. You always look fantastic. Any tips would be greatly appreciated. So Irene, this is really interesting. I have never found a problem getting clothes to fit me. I was always a size 10 on top because I've always had broad shoulders. So UK size 10, which is an American size 6. And then I was always a size 4, American size 6, American size 4 or UK size 8 on the bottom. Actually for a while I was a 6 on the bottom, which is an American size 2. So, but I've never, now that I'm now a 10 on the bottom and a 10 on the top, but I've never found it an issue getting clothes to fit me ever. I don't wear a lot of tailored clothes. So I always wear jeans with a stretch, always. Sometimes whenever I go to buy tailored clothes, I find that the size 10, the UK size 10 is too big on the waist, but it fits on the thighs. So quite often if something fits on the thighs, it's too big on the waist if it's tailored, meaning it doesn't have a stretch in it. But if it's jeans, I never find an issue. I just always buy jeans with a stretch. I tend to buy, soft cotton sweaters and things, and t-shirts, soft cotton t-shirts. I dress very comfortably now that I'm older. So I've never ever found that an issue. I do have a couple of pairs of Freddy jeans, which are the bodybuilders jeans. But again, I'm not a massive fan of Freddy's. Like, they're lovely, but I'm not, evangelical about them in any way. And I just usually try and find, jeans with a stretch. Also because I have great curves now, I always, if I'm ever going out, I usually wear, clothes that are very fitted, figure hugging dresses and that kind of stuff. But again, always with a stretch, always cotton, always, or elastane or whatever, always something with a stretch. And I find that works for me. So great question. I'm sorry I can't give you any more advice than that, but just, try not to buy tailored clothes and just buy something with a stretch. And I think that that's my best advice that I can give you, but definitely check out the Freddy jeans if you don't have any of those. Hello hot stuff. I am wondering if you know how far in advance it is okay to pre-make a powdered protein shake to save on time. I would love to make it before bed and have for breakfast. 5 a.m. starts. Would this be too far in advance? And can you explain why or why not? Thank you so much. So Kelly, I have drunk protein shakes that have been in the fridge for a day or two. So I don't think that the protein deteriorates in any way if it's pre-made. I think that if you put a banana in it and then drink it the next day, it can be really, really banana-y. But the only thing about fresh fruit, as soon as air hits it, as soon as you cut fresh fruit or peel it or juice it, it starts to lose its nutrients because it oxidizes. So as soon as oxygen hits fresh fruit, it's like whenever a berry is picked from the grain or the berry is picked from the vine, like for a raspberry, for example, or a strawberry, whenever it's no longer getting that supply of nutrients, it immediately starts to lose its nutrients. That's why a strawberry that's been ripened on the vine is so much sweeter than one that's been picked and ripened artificially. But it's also why you should never ever buy those pre-prepared juices or green juices or anything from, supermarkets or Starbucks. They do those naked green juices. They're just pure sugar, guys. Don't you're getting so little nutrients for the sugar. It's shocking. Like, I was going to buy one and I wasn't going to buy one. It lifted out of interest in the airport. It was called some kind of green juice or whatever, some healthy vitamin green juice. And I looked at the back of it and it was bright green and it was supposed to be lemon, spinach. I can't remember something else that was in it. And I picked it up and looked at it and it was lemon juice from concentrate, orange juice from concentrate, spinach something or other. I can't remember what else I had in it. It was 280 calories, right? And it was a bottle about this size. And it was all sugar. It was all sugar from concentrate. 280 calories. And I said to my husband, can you believe the average person will be picking this up thinking that they are drinking a health drink because it's green and it's called, it says on the label that it's a healthy vitamin juice. And they're picking this up and all they're drinking is 280 calories worth of sugar. That's it. And it's shocking. So, don't ever buy those pre-made juices because there's some of them that are cold pressed, which are okay. So if they're cold pressed juices and they are made that same day, there's a place in London that I go to called C Press, and they do cold pressed juices and they're juiced that morning and they're never kept for more than a day. And those are okay, but they do still start to lose. By the time 4 hours have passed, they've lost 50% of their nutrients. But 50% is still better than nothing. But never buy them from from Starbucks or anything. But as far as protein powder goes, there's no reason in my mind why protein powder can't be made up in advance and kept in the fridge. It's not losing any of its nutrients. And quite often, if I'm leaving early in the morning for the gym, I will blend my smoothie and I will put it in the fridge and I'll just pick it up and take it with me in the morning. So 100% it's okay to do that. And you could even keep it in there for a day or two, I think, and it wouldn't make much of a difference. So 100% make sure you get that done so you can have your nutrients before you train early in the morning. Hi Kim, can I swap my cardio for Ashtanga or another warming vinyasa practice? I'm just starting phase 1, week 2, and I'm too tired to fit in a full regular yoga practice on top of cardio and lifting. I want to keep my practice up as I own a studio and I teach 10 classes a week. And it's my church. I'm teaching during the Q&A, but I'm really looking forward to the replay. So Janine, the thing about it is, right, it depends on your goal. Again, I'm always saying it depends on your goal. I am, as you know, a yoga teacher, big Ashtanga practitioner for many, many years, and do still practice yoga, but now I don't practice yoga for strength and conditioning, which is what I used to practice it for. I now just practice it for stretch. So I love yin yoga now. I used to be all about, you know, the arm balances and press handstands and like, you know, really tough, sweaty practices. And whereas now I'm just like, no, just give me something that has a nice stretch. That's what I love now for yoga. So is it okay to replace your cardio with those things? Well, you're only in phase 1, week 2. So, you know, there's no reason why you need to be doing cardio in phase 1, week 2. What I would say is that, however, if you were used to teaching 10 classes a week, I used to teach 14 hours of yoga a week and go to the gym on top of that. So I definitely did not do any cardio at all. But it depends on your goal, right? So if your goal is to lose body fat, then you are going to have to do extra cardio on top of what you're already doing. Why? Because your body acclimatizes to the exercise that you're currently doing and your metabolism regulates to that exercise. So the only way that you will be able to get different results is to do something different. It's like that thing, you know, what is it? What's the definition of madness is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So you gotta, if your goal is to lose more body fat, then you will have to add in more cardio on top of your Ashtanga yoga practice. However, if your goal is not to lose body fat and you just want to get stronger and build more muscle, then you can just 100% do your practice, do your Ashtanga, you know, and whatever. The thing is, I don't know whether you've ever read the book, The Science of Yoga. It's an amazing book if you've never read it. But basically, The Science of Yoga breaks down where Ashtanga came from, where yoga came from. It debunks a lot of the myths of yoga. And one of the things that really surprised me, actually, but that made sense, was they have tried to show in so many ways that yoga is a cardiovascular workout. Like, a lot of people want to say, you burn so much fat during yoga. You really don't burn fat during yoga. They linked people up to all different kinds of heart monitors and whatever. And the only time that your heart rate elevates in yoga is whenever you are doing sun salutations. So sun salutations, especially Surya Namaskara B, they, especially if you're doing it in the Ashtanga way with the breath, with the continuous flow, that elevated the heart rate slightly, but only to like 125. It didn't even elevate it into the fat burning zone, which is 130 to 140. So yoga as a cardiovascular workout is not effective. If you want to burn body fat, you need to raise your heart rate consistently into the 130 to 140 zone and keep it there. That's what causes your body to switch. So your body has two main sources of energy, right? It has energy from food, or, you know, which converts into muscle glycogen, or energy from fat stores. So whenever you start to do, this is only the best way to explain it. Whenever you start to do a yoga practice, your body, you're using a lot of your muscles, okay? So in your, you know, in your standing postures and things, you're using a lot of your quad muscles. You're using, you know, if you're doing arm balances or handstands, you're using a lot of your, you know, forearm muscles, your serratus anterior, your core, all of those different muscles. So your body will continue to use muscle glycogen during your yoga practice, but it will not switch over into fat burning mode, because your body only switches over into fat burning mode when it realizes that A, your heart rate has slightly elevated, and B, there is not enough demand placed on the muscles to use up the muscle glycogen, so then it will switch over to its secondary source of energy, which is fat stores. But your body, so that's why slow, steady cardio is best, because after about 10 minutes of doing slow, steady cardio, your body will start using muscle glycogen to fuel you. And then it'll say, oh, hang on a wee second here. Let's conserve our immediate source of energy, because your body wants to keep glycogen in your muscles, because you know, your body's always trying to protect you. So what if your fight or flight went off? What if you were confronted with a tiger? This is what your body's thinking. What if you walked into your garden and a tiger jumped out in front of you and you had to run for your life? Well, your body's going to trigger your fight or flight. Cortisol is going to flood your system. Your body's going to take all the energy away from your digestive system. It's going to pump it into your muscles. It's going to dilate your pupils, and you are going to have so much energy to run from that tiger or probably not fight it, but you know what I'm saying? So that's why your body always wants to conserve its immediate energy source for potential fight or flight circumstances. So if your body can conserve your fight or flight expenditure, aka the glycogen in your muscles, it will, and it will move over to fat store as its secondary source of energy if there is a continued demand on the body. So say you're on that Stairmaster and after 10 minutes your body goes, oh, okay, there's not a big enough demand here for us to keep using muscle glycogen. So we're going to switch over into our secondary energy source, which is fat store, and we have a lot of that energy, so totally fine to do that. So it switches over into fat burning mode. That's why slow, steady cardio is amazing for burning fat, because of that effort, because of that that switch that it makes. Now, HIIT workouts are also really good for burning fat, because your body will immediately start you're burning out muscle glycogen and burning out fat store, and also you have a thing called exercise post-oxygen consumption, EPOC, which means that your body will continue to burn fat long after you have finished HIIT workout. The risk with HIIT workouts is that your body can produce a lot of cortisol, which can then shut down fat burning and start to burn off muscle glycogen, start to burn off muscle tissue instead. Because cortisol is your body's stress hormone. If your body is stressed, it will shut down fat burning because it wants to preserve the fat for a perceived future shortage, and it'll start to break down muscle tissue instead. So that's a very delicate balance for cardio. So why do I say this? So if you want to use Ashtanga for fat burning, Ashtanga isn't going to burn fat. I'm sorry, there's no science to suggest it. Your heart rate does not go above 120 to 125, which is not in the fat burning zone, and it's not going to burn fat. But you can continue to do your Ashtanga. It's going to be really good for your muscles. It's going to keep your muscles pliable and flexible. It's going to, help to break down the fascia, which builds up around the muscles. I mean, you know all this, you're a yoga teacher, but it's definitely not going to burn fat. So if your goal is to burn fat, you're going to have to add in some extra cardio. So sorry to get all scientific on you there, but you know how I love my science, and I love my yoga, and I love, I really got into it because I used to be like, oh, I teach 14 hours yoga a week, like I'm always burning fat. And then I read The Science of Yoga, and I was like, oh yeah, not burning fat at all, Kim. Who wrote The Science of Yoga? Let me look and see. Can I find it here and I can tell you? Do I have it here? It was actually an ebook, or it was an audiobook that I listened to. Oh, there it is there. The Science of Yoga. William J. Broad. What is it called? Book details. The risks and rewards. This is it here. The Science of Yoga, for anyone who's interested. Really, really, really good book if you're into yoga, and it gives you. It basically breaks down all of the myths of yoga, and it breaks it down into the science of what is true, what is not true. And definitely a read if you're, or listen if you're a yogi. What you will notice from using slightly lower weights with higher reps, is you will notice that that your strength increases enormously. So whenever you go into phase 4 and you go back to lower reps and higher weights, you will notice that you're actually able to increase your reps and increase your load on every single set. So as you know, and what I'm always preaching, is there are 3 ways to progressively overload the muscle. The first one is through more weight, which is what we always recommend. Load is king. The second one is through more volume, which means higher reps. And the third way to progressively overload is through shorter rest periods. Now, progressive overload, for those of you who don't know, is basically just adding more to the muscle progressively. So that's what it basically means, progressively overloading the muscle. It doesn't mean particularly in one session. It can mean, over a period of time, but it's basically you just want to keep adding more to the muscle, placing more demands on the muscle so that it will grow. So one of the best technique that we can ever use is simply more weight. So what we always recommend first and foremost for progressive overload is more weight. And even if you can't add more weight on, you should be trying to push up your reps. Okay, what does this look like? So Lucy, this isn't specifically for you. This is just a general overlook of progressive overload, because I think it's important for people to know. So what I always say is, first and foremost, you should be trying to add more weight to your exercises. Whenever you add more weight to your exercises, you're going to place more demands on the muscle, and the amount of reps you're able to lift will probably decrease. However, even if you can't add more weight, I mean, you can't add more weight consecutively every single week, right? It doesn't work that way, because you will reach a point in your muscle building journey where you will plateau, and that's just what happens. So what I always say to people is, what you want to do is you want to aim to add more reps to your highest weight. And that is another way to overload the muscle if you simply can't put more weight on. So you go to your highest weight first, then when you're at your highest weight, then you add more reps. And then whenever you are at your highest weight and your highest reps, if you still can't add any more weight, then you can shorten your rest periods a little bit. If you work with all three of those until you're able to add more load, you're going to be training the muscle harder, you're going to be recruiting more muscle fibers, you're going to be building more muscle. But for you specifically, Lucy, in the advanced program, if you want to lower your weight slightly, I mean, the reps are 12 to 20 reps. Now, if on your final set of, say, squats, say in your final set of squats, you are doing 8 reps, okay? You're not going to be able to do 20 reps at 8, at the weight you were doing 8 reps at. I mean, that would just be ludicrous to think that you would. But you may be able to drop back to your first working set, which is your third set. You may be able to drop back to those weights and push for 12 to 20 reps. Even if you don't get to 20 reps straight away, even if you only got to, say, 15 reps, you're going to notice incrementally every single week that you're going to be able to push the weight up. So you don't want to be letting yourself off the hook. Even though it's 20 reps, you still want to be struggling like a bitch at the end of it. You still want to be like grunting and swearing and and feeling like you're going to die. You might only get to 18 reps. That's okay. It's more important that you are pushing to failure than you are then you're getting to the 20 reps. But one thing you want to really watch out for is that you're not getting so tired that you start to lose form and potentially injure yourself. Whenever you're working with higher reps, you have to really keep your mind on the job. So whenever I've been doing 20 reps of squats, for example, in previous days, whenever I was using this progressive overload technique, what I would have done is counted in 5. So I would have said, okay, I'm going to do 5. So I would have counted in my mind, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I would go, okay, 5 more, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, just 5 more, 5 more, 3, 2, 1. For some reason, I could manage in my mind 5 reps far better than I could manage 20 reps. So I used to think, okay, 4 sets of 5, 4 sets of 5, and or even 5 sets of 4. Like if that works better for you, just think I'm only going to do 4, I'm only going to do 4, and just count down in 4s. So that's one of the ways to manage the higher reps. It is a hateful way of training. I am not going to lie to you. I detest higher volume. But one thing I have noticed after I've come out of a period of higher volume is just how much my strength goes up in the next phase. So whenever you hit phase 4, you will notice that your strength is enormous and you'll be able to push higher weights on every single exercise. So do keep a note of your weights. You probably know what you've been lifting in phase 2 anyway, but definitely keep a note of them. You do want to drop your weights back a little bit, but you do want to make sure that you keep your eye on the ball the whole time. Do not lose form, and just really keep pushing as heavy as you can, but obviously you're not going to be able to push as heavy as you are currently in your final set. Do you know, I think it all comes down to your level of honesty. I was talking about this in the gym earlier about, the level of honesty you have with yourself. Some people, whenever they start phase 1, they start really, really slow, right? And they really don't grasp the concept. I'm not saying this is you, by the way, but some people really don't grasp the concept of what it truly means to work to failure. And some people don't, they know that they haven't pushed themselves possibly as hard as they could because they were just getting a feel for the phase. They were just figuring out the exercises. So they really don't feel they have progressed as fast as they possibly could. So can you go back and repeat phase 1? Absolutely, if you want to. The way the phases are designed, they are designed to build on top of each other sequentially. But what you'll notice about the phases as you move through them is a lot of the exercises are very, very much the same. We just switch up some of the compounds on each day. The reason for this is because whenever your body builds a central nervous system pattern of movement, it's almost like driving a car. And you'll hear me say this over and over and over again. I do repeat myself a lot, but that's because the principles remain the same and it's good to reinforce them. So whenever you're driving a car, the first time you get into a car, you get in, you're all nervous and you're like, oh, you're not sure where to go and what to do and where's the indicator and how fast can you go, and you can't have the music on, you don't want anyone talking to you because you have to concentrate. It's the same as that's kind of the same thing as whenever you are starting a new gym program. You get on the machine, you're like, oh, this machine feels weird, or where do I place the bar? Oh, how much weight should I put on? Where should I put my feet? So you have this whole, not sure, this whole setup thing that you want to make sure that you're in the correct position in order to get the most out of the exercise. But whenever you do the same exercises again and again and again and again and again, getting on that machine is almost like getting into the car. Whenever you get on that machine, it feels natural, it feels normal, it feels comfortable, it feels easy. You know, you don't have to think about the setup and you can just fully concentrate on pushing more load. That's all you have to concentrate on. You're not worried about slipping off the machine or being in the incorrect position or not working the right muscles. You know exactly what you're supposed to do. Your body remembers, so you can just add more load, add more load, add more load. That's why we keep the exercises pretty much the same the whole way through all the phases. So, and just FYI, like I have been training using the same exercises in the same sequential order for the last 18 months. Every single workout that I do has been the same for 18 months. So can you go back and do phase 1 again? 100%. If you want to go back and repeat phase 1, no problem at all. But the thing is, you can just move on into phase 2 if you want as well, and just work steadily through phase 2. There's going to be no real benefit from going back and doing phase 1, except that, it's going to take you longer to get through the program. But don't forget, once you get to phase 5, you don't have to go into the shred in phase 6 if you don't want to. Many people don't go into the shred. Some people go into the shred and just do the workout portions, but don't actually do the shred. So don't do the diet part, they just do the training. So you can extend any one phase for longer. You can extend every phase for an extra week if you want, or you can just continue on with phase 5 indefinitely until you feel ready to shred. All of the options are yours. The way this program is designed out, or is designed, it is to get maximum benefits, but it's also designed to be extremely simple and, for you to be able to really make it whatever you want it to be. It's very, very flexible. So I know I'm not really giving you an answer here, but it really is up to you. Are you going to get benefit from going back and repeating phase 1? Yes. Are you going to get benefit from just going on and completing phase 2? Yes. So whatever you want to do is fine for you. And it's really just about personal honesty. If you feel that you haven't pushed yourself as hard as you could in phase 1 and you want to go back and give it another go, by all means, do it. And I think that level of honesty, if you have it now with yourself, will be really good and will carry forward into the rest of your training journey. Whenever you keep the exercises the same, whenever you build a central nervous system pattern of movement into an exercise, it means that your body can relax and just cope with adding on more load. So the thing about your body is it can't cope with very many stressors at the same time. So adding more load to an exercise is a stressor, okay? And it's quite a big stressor. So is trying to learn a new exercise. So is wondering if your feet are in the right position. So is wondering if the machine's in the right position. So is trying to figure out, where to, put your feet on this, on this machine. And so whenever the body is stressed in that way, your heart rate goes up, your cortisol levels increase, all of these different things happen, which means that you are not as strong. So, but whenever you can completely relax, completely concentrate, you know that you got this, you're not worried about getting everything right, then you can just add more load and add more load. So what should you be concentrating on in phase 3? You should be concentrating on trying to add more load first and foremost. You're trying to add more weight to every single exercise. And if you can't add more weight by yourself, you need to get comfortable with asking for a spot. So, try and take someone to the gym with you if you can. Like case in point, I was in the gym today and I was training back. Mark's away on holiday, so I'm not training with Mark at the minute. And I decided to do T-bar rows. I haven't done them in a few weeks because my back has been hurting, but I decided I would do T-bar rows. So I put 80 kilos on the T-bar row, but I knew that I didn't want to bend down and pull up the 80 kilos because that's almost like a deadlift for me, and that's where it ends up pulling into my back. So I looked around the gym and I spotted a guy in the corner, and I just shouted over to him and I said, "Can you give me a lift up with this?" And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I didn't need him to help me, like spot me during it, but I knew once I had it up there, then I'd be able to bend over and I'd be able to row it. So, he came over and I got my grips on and I got in and I said, just wait a wee second. And I took my deep breaths and I activated my transverse abdominis and I sucked my smoothie through my vagina. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go back and watch last week's Q&A, or the week before. And then he said 3, 2, 1, boom, and he pulled it up for me. And he was kind of hanging and I said, no, it's okay. I don't need a spot during the exercise. I just needed you to help me pull it up. So you got to get comfortable with just looking around at the guys in the gym. Like the guys in the gym are so used to spotting each other. You know, guys, the reason why, there's a reason why guys train together. Like, you know, the way you always hear about, you know, oh, he's at the gym with his buddies, or, you know, he and such have gone to the gym. Whenever, not all guys train together, but a lot of guys train together, right? And it's not like, you know, like girls go to the bathroom together, okay? That's not the reason why guys train together. Guys train together so they can spot each other, right? Like Mark, my trainer, very rarely trains alone. He always trains, especially on legs, okay? With upper body stuff, you can, you know, you can train with a trainer, or you can train by yourself and get really good results, but especially with legs. The reason why guys train together is so they can spot each other, because they know that the magic lies in the final 2 to 4 reps of the final set. You have to be willing to go the extra mile. You have to be willing to grind out those final few reps. You have to be willing to get in partial reps, half reps, negative reps, failure reps in order for the muscle to grow. So as you move into phase 3, you should now start to be feeling more confident about asking for a spot in the gym, or finding a training partner who can go to the gym with you and adding more load. Now, if you get to a point where you are like, I just cannot add more load. I mean, you can usually add more load to your leg exercises, right? But adding more load, a lot of people reach a point with shoulder press where they just, you know, with the military press, they just can't press anymore. Like, it's a small muscle group, they just can't go any harder. That is where a spotter becomes really, really useful, right? But also that is where you try to grind out more reps at a lower weight in order to gain strength, in order to push your weights up. So let's break this down. If you can do, say your top weight in a shoulder press is, mine would be on a machine shoulder press, 40 kilos each side, okay? So that's my top set. So I would add 3 10-kilo plates on. The machine weighs about 10 kilos. So I don't know whether it's 10 kilos in total, or it's 10, or it's 5 each side. It's maybe 5 each side. So it's probably 35 kilos each side, right? That's my top set in a military press. So I couldn't push any more than that by myself. I would be like, I would kind of get stuck here, right? But I can grind out 6 reps by myself, probably, and easily 10 reps with a spotter, just to keep the momentum going, just to lift the bar up, just to keep the momentum going, and me getting the negative reps. So if I didn't have a spotter and I knew that I could lift that 35 or that 70 kilo military press for 6 reps, I would never ever lift less than 70 kilos, and I would be pushing every week for 7 reps, then for 8 reps, then for 9 reps. I mean, it might take me 6 weeks on that military press to get from 6 weeks to 8 reps. Sorry, 6 reps to 8 reps, right? It might take me 6 weeks to increase 2 reps. Now, if I can then push from 8 reps to 10 reps by myself without a spotter, I know that I'm ready to go up a weight. So even if I can get to 8 reps, I might add on another like 1.5 kilos each side. I might add on another 2.5 kilos each side. Just any tiny little extra amount of weight is going to push your muscles further and is going to make your muscles grow bigger. So I am all about making the muscle grow. I was talking about this earlier to Mike, my videographer, and I was saying to him, you know, I am all about getting the biggest results, the fastest results in the shortest amount of time. That is what I'm all about. You know why? Because I'm busy and I don't have time to spend 2 hours in the gym every day. I want to get in there, apply myself with intensity and effort, get as much as I possibly can out of it, and then leave the gym as fast as possible. Like 45 minutes is my aim, to be in the gym and out of the gym. That's all I want to do. So this is the way that I teach in this program, is quite simply the fastest way I have ever learned or seen to build muscle. I have built, in the last year, I went from 63 kilos to standing on the scale just before competition at 66 kilos. So I put on 3 kilos of muscle, which is 6.6 pounds of muscle in 1 year, right? 1 year. Now I put on, I think in the 2 years previously, I put on about 5 kilos of muscle in 2.5 years previously. So I actually increased I almost put on an extra pound or 2 pounds of muscle in this 1 year, training the way that I train, that you guys train now in this program, than I did the year before. And the only thing that I changed was I shortened my workouts. and I push to failure by increasing load and increasing weights. So I've actually trained less this year than in any previous year. In previous years when I was in the gym, I was training 6 days a week, sometimes for, up to 2 hours in the gym. And I believe that's what was necessary in order to build more muscle. The way that I teach in this program, you should be in the gym no longer than 45 minutes, and you should be incrementally increasing your weights or increasing your reps and then increasing your weight every single week. So there's a reason why it's a reason why the exercises don't change. And I always say to people, it's always like an episode of The Gladiator, I'm like, do you want to be entertained? I'm like, do you want to be entertained or do you want to get results? And a lot of people come in and they're like, I'm really bored of these workouts. I'm like, well, do you want to be entertained or do you want to get results? Because if you want to be entertained, you can go and buy, like a fitness models, on Instagram's, app and do her workout and be on the beach with booty bands every day. And, you'll be entertained because your exercises will change continually. But are you going to get really fast results in a really short space of time? Probably not. So, that's why people buy my program, because I cut through the bullshit and I don't sugarcoat it, and I don't, try to entertain you. I believe that you're here to get results. And unfortunately, getting results is boring. Getting results is a grind. Getting results requires doing the same thing, eating the same thing, training the same way, taking the same supplements every single day. Just like building a big business requires doing the same things every single day. Being a great mother requires doing the same things every single day. Consistency and discipline are boring as hell, but unfortunately they're the only things that get results. So, and I know that you weren't like dissing the program and being like, in this program shite, but I know that you're genuinely asking. You're like, people expect they go to phase 3 and they're like, yay, phase 3, and they get really excited, and then they go, this looks almost identical to phase 2, except like there's a leg press where there was a squat, and they're and they're really like, now I'm really disappointed because they thought that phase 3 was going to open up a Pandora's box of new and exciting new things in the gym. No. I'm here to break the bad news to you, which is, seriously, if you want to get results, it's as boring as shit. And I can't sugarcoat it and pretend that it's not. And I could sell you a program which is really entertaining and has loads of different things every single phase, but then I'd be lying to you, because that's not how I train. I train by doing the same exercises every single day in the same order, in the same gym. And I've done that for the last 18 months. And I actually, I've realized I used to want to be entertained in the gym as well. I used to be like, this is so boring. But what I realized was I actually just believed it was boring because I believed that if I didn't change, my results wouldn't be as good. I now know, looking back, I used to be like, I'm really sick of this program. Say I've been on a program 8 weeks and I'd be like, I can't wait for this program to finish so I can start a new program, because I believed that after 8 weeks, because the program was 8 weeks, I believed that, I needed to change something after 8 weeks. What I didn't realize was that actually me constantly chopping and changing programs was actually hindering my growth. It wasn't making it grow any faster. It was actually hindering how fast I was growing. So whenever I realized that staying the same was actually the thing that was magical, it took all the pressure off me. And now I love going to the gym knowing that on shoulder day, the exercises are exactly the same. On leg day, the exercises are exactly the same. I really love the peace of mind knowing that I'm just walking into the gym, any gym in the world I can walk into, I can do the exercises, and I can leave that gym and know that I've had a damn good workout and I've got really, really good results. So don't ever worry that keeping the exercises the same is making you grow slower or is hindering your growth. It's not. It's actually accelerating it. As long as you're always aiming to add more weight, and if you can't add more weight, you're aiming to add more reps. And if you can't add more reps, you're aiming to shorten your rest periods. So always in that order. Add more weight. Can't add more weight to my shoulder press. I'm at my top weight. Okay, can you add more reps? No, not at the minute. I'm at my top rep set. I can't even add one more rep. Okay, can you shorten your rest periods? Yes, I can shorten. You can always shorten your rest periods, okay? You always have some way of progressively overloading the muscle in the gym. Always, because you can shorten your rest periods. Now, in your final set, you may usually get 8 reps. And if you shorten your rest periods, you might only get 4 to 6 reps. That's okay. Next week, keep your rest periods short again and push for, 6 or 7 reps, push for 8 reps, push for 9 reps. There's always a way you can progressively overload the muscle. And those are the ways that, that's the way that you do it, is by more load more reps or shorter rest periods. Janine White is saying, I love the repetition. If I forget my phone with a routine on it, I generally know the main machines, etc. You see, I'm exactly the same, Janine. Like, if you get to the gym and you're like, oh shit, I forgot my workout, it's fine because you know exactly what to do. Like, I can walk into any gym in the world, and that's what I love. I can walk into any gym in the world, and you know I travel a lot. So I can go into Marbella, I can go to Biarritz, I can go to, we were training in Biarritz there, my husband and I, and we went into the gym and we looked around, and they had quite, you know, they had really good machines, but not a massively wide variety. So I was looking, Ryan and I was like, okay, we can't train legs because there's only a squat machine, right? The thing where you put, it wasn't like a hack squat, it was like supposed to stimulate like a squat machine. All there was for legs was a leg extension and a squat machine. And I said, Ryan, right, there's only 2 exercises we can do here. We could do walking lunges, 3 exercises. I'm not prepared to, you know, to train legs. But I looked around, I said, what are we going to get the most effective workout? I was like, okay, back. There's not a lot of things we can do here for back because there was no lat pull down. There was a pull down machine, but there was nothing you could hook your knees under. And there was no row, you know, we could do dumbbells or whatever. But I said, I know what we can do. We can actually train shoulders and biceps really effectively because they were good. There was a good cable machine. And, you know, there was dumbbells and that kind of stuff. But the dumbbells only went up to 14 kilos. So per Ryan had to do like 100 reps with 14 kilos, whereas I was quite comfortable at 14 kilos. So we did a really effective shoulder workout, and we did exactly the same shoulder workout that I do at home. We did dumbbell, except instead of machine, I did dumbbell military presses, and then we did side raises, and then we did dumbbell flies. That, you know, there was a cable machine, so we did cable dumbbell, reverse dumbbell flies, or reverse flies, sorry, rear delt flies. And then we did upright row with the cable. Then we did front raise with the cable. We just changed the grip slightly because they didn't have a rope. And then we did cable dumbbell curls. Then we did actual dumbbell curls. And then we did one arm preacher curls over the back of a bench. So, you know, we got a really good shoulder workout in. And then the same thing on chest. Was it chest? Yeah, we did chest and triceps. And we were able to improvise with dumbbells and all different stuff in chest and triceps. So you just got it, but whenever you know the sequence of the workouts, whenever you know the sequence of the exercises, you can basically, like, an upright row is an upright row. It doesn't matter if you're using a cable, a barbell, dumbbells, you know, at different bars. You know, you can have a flat bar, you can have a bar like this. Once you're doing an upright row, you can look around and go, okay, where are all my options for an upright row? A military press, dumbbell, barbell, machine, even like a cable, you know, you could, you know, a cable Smith machine. You know, there's so many different ways to do a military press, so many different ways to do a side raise. If you have a cable, you could do a bent over side raise, you could do a dumbbell side raise, kettlebell side raise, you can hold on to something and lean out. You know, so many different ways to do a side raise, front raise, all those different things. Once you know the fundamentals of your workout plan, then you can start to change it up. If you feel like you need a bit of a change, you know, you can start to change it up. And actually, that's one thing I want to mention before I finish. You know, so I think that just don't ever be afraid to switch up the exercise that I have put in there for the same exercise but with a different piece of equipment. So if it says machine military press and you want to do a barbell military press, go on ahead. You can do a seated one, standing one, you can do a Smith military press, you can do a wide grip, you can do a close grip, you can do a neutral grip, you could do dumbbells. You could do any kind of military press that you want. Same with the rear delt fly. Like, I don't always do the rear delt fly machine that is in the exercise. Sometimes I do a bent over dumbbell rear delt fly. Sometimes I do a standing one. Sometimes I do a cable one. Sometimes I do a single arm rear delt fly. So if you just Google different alternatives for those exercises, that's actually what I want you to do. I want you to kind of take charge of knowing that there's 100 different ways to work a muscle. And if something says a military press, there's 100 different military presses that you can do. So if you feel like you're getting a little bit bored, you can 100% switch it up. Or if you don't have the equipment, if you're at a different gym, switch it up, no problem at all. But you do have the power to do that. But you will find that so many of the exercises in this program are the same constantly. And that is because it's the fastest way to get results. I'm not trying to like dupe you out of, you know, loads of money for like hardly any information. You're here to get results. Anyone who's purchased this program is here to get results, and I'm here to get you those results. So if you just follow the program as is, you will get the results. Okay guys, thank you so much for this Q&A. Thank you so much for your questions. I hope that you found them useful, or all of these answers useful. And I will see you next week for Q&A Tuesday. I'm not actually traveling again until the end of September, 21st of September. So I will be here every week for Q&A Tuesday. And I will catch you all next week. Same time, same place. Be there or... Okay, love you guys. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.